Hello, welcome back to Double Dabbles. Today we've been up at the land doing a few jobs, finishing a few things off, and I found myself with a spare bit of time before the rain comes, so I thought I'd do a quick review on my lightweight camp cook kit. It's mainly used for solo travel, motorbike travel, bike packing, backpacking, that sort of thing. It's good enough to do quick and easy meals at camp, but it's definitely not for the budding Gordon Ramsays out there. Without further ado, we'll crack on and I'll open up the kit and you'll see what it's made up of. So here it is, my lightweight cook kit. I say lightweight, it comes in at around the sort of 950 gram mark, which is on the heavy side for a truly lightweight cook kit, but I believe the versatility this kit gives me is worth the extra weight. The kit itself is all contained within this one actual bag, and it comprises of a titanium windshield and then an Alp Kit 3-pan titanium cook set. The first pan is a frying pan, which is about big enough for doing an egg or a couple of sausages, but to be honest with you, I very rarely find myself frying food when camping. Inside of that I keep the other part, which I'll get to later. Then you've got a 1.2 litre titanium pot and an 800 milliliter titanium pot, and a little improvised chopping board that I've made that slots inside the one and is held in place for the second pan. This can also double as a windshield if needed. Inside of those pans, inside of some homemade bubble wrap insulation, is the heart of the cook system, which is an Evernew DX titanium stove. I'll just move that out of the way. This stores in its own 500 milliliter titanium mug, and it stacks up like so. Inside of there is the Evernew titanium spirit burner. This differs to a Trangia in that it has 2 layers of rings, and you can't use a simmer ring with it, and when you put fuel in it, all of the fuel has to be burnt. You can't store fuel inside of it. That sits in the first section, and then this slots onto the top, and you have a little plate here, again titanium, that dissipates the heat. That has to be removed to fill with meths or biofuel, whatever you're burning in there. This stove also has another function in that you can take out the spirit burner, drop that little ring onto the bottom, and put that back on, and then that, as you can see, has an opening at the bottom through which you can feed twigs, and it forms a very basic twig stove, so you can actually cook using gathered twigs or whatever inside of there as a backup. I've never done that, I've never found the need to do that, but it is an option should you choose to do it. The cup is actually shaped on the bottom to fit neatly inside of there if all you're doing is boiling a cup of water, and it comes with a lid with a vent hole in the top and a rubberized handle that doesn't get hot when cooking. Inside of all of that as well, I keep a little bag which goes just nests in top of one of the pans that contains a small folding spork, a little silicone pot grip should you ever need to take anything off and hold it not using the handles, trivet which slots together and goes into the top of that and holds it just slightly further away from the flame, which gives you the option for using bigger pans with a bit more stability. Again, this is by Evernew and is part of the DX, but I believe it's an optional purchase. Obviously a small tin opener, which is becoming obsolete with more and more ring pulls on cans these days, and an egg poacher. And to be totally honest with you, I don't know why I carry this. I don't think I've ever used it. It probably is going to get deleted from the cook kit. So what we'll do is I'll just tidy up a little and then I'll boil a pot of water to make a brew, and we'll talk a little bit more about the cook kit. So what we'll do now is we'll make a quick brew, and I'll go through the process of filling and lighting the stove. The best way I find of filling the stove is to take off the top ring. I use the Trangia bottle, whichever bottle you've got to hand for your meths or alcohol. Put enough in to make a brew. As I said, you can't leave alcohol stored in this stove. There are marks on the inside, and with use you'll learn just how much to put in for the desired amount of water you want to boil. To light the stove, I use one of the little turbo flame lighters because it saves getting your hands above the flame when you're actually lighting it. You can go off to one side and light the stove. And there we go, the stove's lit. And before it starts to get too aggressive with the flames and starts to bloom, just slot the top ring back on. Now, while that's waiting to bloom, you ideally want to wait for it to start to bloom properly to save you getting too much soot on the bottom of your cups and pans. We'll just get the water in the cup ready to boil. Got 500 millilitres of water here. Right, we're just starting to bloom. It blooms very quickly, this stove. With it being titanium, it heats up really quickly, and as I said, with it having the 2 rings of holes, it's quite an aggressive flame. Now what I have done off camera is I've unrolled the titanium windshield because it makes a horrible noise while you're unrolling it, and I didn't want to subject you to it. But that I tend to just fold around the stove like that. It has got a little magnetic clasp where you can hold it bigger, but I find holding it in tight like that really is a lot easier, and it just works. So while that's coming to the boil, we'll just talk through the other pans. So the 1.2 litre titanium pan, I find that the ideal size for the wayfarer type meals where you just fill with water, stuff in the bag of food and heat it up. Perfect size for that. The 1.2 litre pan will easily take a tin of soup, a tin of beans, whatever you want to in there. When I'm feeling really adventurous, I will go for rice and curry. So you can make up a quick curry in there, a few vegetables and a jar of curry sauce. Cook that up, get that nice and hot, and then while you're bringing your rice to the boil in this pan, you can stack that pan on the top, as I said earlier, and just keep the curry sauce hot while your rice is cooking, and it performs the task of as a lid as well, just to keep the heat into your rice. Now, while I'm making a brew, I'll just talk you through what I actually drink when I'm out in the wilds. I hate carrying and refrigerating milk. Some of my motorbike trips can be 2-3 weeks long, covering thousands of miles, and the hassle of stopping and buying milk all the time really got to me. So I did some research and I found a company called Drink Me Chai, and they do instant chais, ideally made with milk. It is absolutely delicious if you make it with hot milk, but you can make it with water, and that is what I tend to take with me on long trips. And today I will be having their instant vanilla chai latte. It's very easy. It comes with a scoop. You put 1 scoop in 500 ml of water, give it a quick stir, and away you go. If, like me, you've got a really sweet tooth, I do add a little bit of sugar to the powder just to sweeten it up that little bit. And if you give it a shake and mix it up before you put it into your cup, you get a lovely hot sweet vanilla chai latte. Of a night time, I also take with me a little hip flask full of Baileys and some Galaxy instant hot chocolate. And a hot chocolate and Baileys as a nightcap to send you off to sleep is absolutely ideal. So let's have a look how we're doing with this water. Yes, that's almost to the boil. Now, the one thing I haven't done is I haven't timed this boil. To me, when you're out camping or on holiday or on a trip, the last thing you should be doing is watching a clock. So to me, if it takes an extra 30 seconds, minute and a half to boil is irrelevant. It's whether it actually does the job I want it to do without it being a pain in the backside, to be blunt. So while that's just waiting to come to the boil, I'll talk to you about the little insulated, homemade insulated cover I've made for the cup. What I use this for is if I am doing a really lightweight camp and I'm not taking the pan set, I'm just taking the cup and the actual burner, because the burner stores inside the cup. I will bring some food to the boil, and then I will put it inside of this with the handle sticking out and put it to one side just to carry on cooking, and it keeps it nice and warm inside of that. So it cuts down on gas usage, meth usage, whatever. Rather than leaving something to simmer, because this stove will not simmer, bring it to the boil, put it in that, leave it to carry on cooking, and then just, if you need to, just pop it back on a little bit of meth just to heat it back up. So we're boiling already. So the only drawback I found with this Evernew titanium cup is, although the top is got a nice insulated handle that doesn't get at all hot to the touch, the handles on the cup aren't insulated. That's why I carry the little silicone grabber, because when you first take it off the stove, these handles with the flames lapping can be very hot. So there we go, that's that done. With it being titanium, these handles will get cool to the touch very quickly. So, instant chai latte, 1 level scoop, quick stir, and there we have one delicious instant chai latte. As you can see, if I take the windshield away, the flames on this Evernew, with it being a 2-ring burner, are quite aggressive, and as I said earlier, you will not simmer in this. I have managed in the past to drop a Trangia simmer ring on it, but that only takes out the very top layer of rings, and you will get a lower flame, but you've still got a full outer ring giving flames off, which will burn as hot as a normal Trangia. This will bring water to the boil quicker than a standard Trangia stove, and you can use the Trangia alcohol burner in this Evernew set, but you have to cut little notches in the side of it because there's 3 vanes inside, and you need a notch where each one of those vanes is for it to sit in properly. So that's my lightweight cook set. I'll sit and enjoy my drink, and we'll catch up again later. So that's break time over, time to get back to work. I hope there was something of use to some of you in that video. If so, I would appreciate it if you'd give a little thumbs up. And I'll see you next time, hopefully with another gadget. keep on dabbling.